Well, good evening and welcome to this evening's craft along. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity here in the UK, and we're set to have a groovy session together. I'm really looking forward to this, and I've done all my prep, so I know where the bus is headed. And now we'll just give our friends a couple of minutes to join us, and then we'll get started, shall we? I think it could take a little while. But I am set for an evening, if you are. Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great if we could. I don't know if we'll finish it, but we'll certainly get to grips with all the stages. Okay, we're going to make that coaster. So it's a groovy coaster. Let's just give our friends a couple of minutes to join us. How are you? Are you going to be joining me? Are you going to be joining in, more importantly? It's okay if you don't. It really is okay if you don't. If you just want to hang out and you fancy a bit of company this evening because the news is rubbish, the weather's rubbish, and there's nothing on the telly, then of course you're welcome to hang out here. Grace, lovely Grace, is in the room in Brooklyn, in New York, so she'll be keeping you company and answering any questions and giving you any links that if you're looking for anything in particular. I mean, it's a free craft along, but sometimes I might use something and you think, do you know what, I really fancy that. I want that. And then Grace will give you the link. Come on in. It's good to have your company. Be interested to see how many people join us and how many people join in. Although it's not mandatory. The only one that's really got to do the job is myself. I know. I just saw Gibraltar and Norway. Oh, do you know what? I love this. We've been really busy. We've been really busy this year since we got back. And so I haven't had a chance yet to get those online workshops, the 1, 2, 3 courses that I wanted to plan. I really haven't I haven't had the time, and I'm not going to stress over it. They will happen. They will. And until I can get my gear together and get it sorted, well, we'll just have to have these little free craft alongs, and they're okay. Good evening, Ken. Good to see you. Yay. So did you hear the good news? I don't know whether you read my blog already, but Gracie rang me and this afternoon, and she said, you got to read your email, Mum. Have you read your emails? I said, no, I'm working on artwork. And she said, well, you better go and look. So it turns out, when you voted for us in the craft awards, well, it turns out we won. So thank you so much for voting for us. There's real excitement at Clarity today, I can tell you. So we got best, what was it? Best, I had to write it down. Best workshops. Interestingly, yeah, we got best workshops, which is very flattering. Really I'm excited about that. And then we also got runner-up stamps, best stamps, runner-up, that's good. Got to be in it to win it. So we got silver on stamps, which is great when you think how many stamp companies are out there. And then we also got Craft Personality of the Year. Boom. So that was a new one. Never had that before. And pretty exciting, really, after all these years. And I'll be honest, it couldn't have come at a better time, for this old bird's head. It's been quite, I'll tell you about it later, when we're doing our embossing and that. But it's been, all I will tell you is it couldn't have come at a better time for this old bird, really. When you think you're just about a has-been, yeah, when you realize that you're the dinosaur of the crafting world, and you start to think, should I be retiring? But you can't, and you don't want to, So thank you very much for voting for us. Certainly put a smile on my face today. Yeah. And so I'm hoping that my mum is able to join us. I'm sure she's in the room. She was rigging up her YouTube. Gracie just called her. She's getting the video up and running. And Gracie, the sound is good, I hope. And then we can get started. So that'll be cool. Thank you for the congratulations. I'm quietly chuffed to giblets here. Yeah, you know, because it's been a right few months. No, I'll rephrase that. It's been a right couple of years, you know, like a proper grind. And so it's good to have that kind of recognition, I suppose, isn't it? And I know that it's all you guys, you know, it's a vote, isn't it? You have to vote. So it's much appreciated. Really. Can't stop smiling. Brilliant. Yeah. And so I'm going to dine out on that now. I know. It's good, isn't it? Anyway. So should we get started? Let's get started because we're going to be here for hours. Yeah. Don't you bloody dare retire. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's what a bank manager said. I guess we just do it differently, don't we, at Clarity? So it's been since Create and Craft in Oundle folded, we've just, you know, heads down, stay in our lane, business as usual, and pedal like fury. And you know, yeah, absolutely chuffed to giblets, really. So let's have a look. Let's get started because we can always talk about that again later. But let's get the old, let's get this craft along going. First of all, what are we making and what do we need? All right. Let's have a look. So first of all, there's my cup of tea. That's what we're making. My mum's coaster that I made for her. I made this for her years ago. In fact, I reckon it was September 2017. I bet I did a step-by-step because I've got the photos in my phone. If you want to look at a blog, not now, but later, you know, so you want a photo step-by-step, for example, it would have been in September 2017. That's a long time ago. I know. So this is what we're making today. And you can see it's transparent. And the idea is really that what you're getting, I mean, this is well loved. It's on my mum's table every time I go and see her, and it's used, you know, which is great. So it just goes to show you that these Pergamano coasters, they're quite durable, aren't they? So the idea behind this project, okay, is we're going to use one or two little groovy images, and what we're going to do is it's all about the positioning, really. There are three things going on here. One is, say, if this was in 3 stages, then these are the stages. 1, composition. So in other words, how do we lay up the dragonfly to make these gaps? Okay, that's the first thing. 1, composition. 2, white work. So we'll keep it simple and we'll do the white work. The white work being the little white dots everywhere. Okay, that's the white work. Keep it simple. And then 3, snip. Snip, 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 snip. So the whole object of the exercise here really is to create cutting opportunities for yourself. Okay, so, and you want them not to be too big, and no two will ever be the same, which is quite something, you know. So it means that when we're doing this, everybody's will be original. If you can use any image as well. I mean, we're going with this dragonfly because it's pretty, and that's what I used on mum's. I'll show you where it comes from. We'll have a look at the list, and then yeah, and then I'll, you know, we'll have a look at some artwork and what have you, so you can see what else you can do with these beautiful plates. So let's take a look first of all at the list, and then we can see. So, for example, this is what we need tonight if you're going to join in. I'm sure that several of you will join in. Well, first of all, we're going to use a coaster. So we're moving towards the coaster. Now, it says here, Deluxe Groovy Starter Kit. Well, there's loads of bits and pieces that you need in the starter kit. So you need a bit of parchment, A5 parchment. That'd be useful. You need tumble dryer sheet. That would be useful. We need the tools, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're in the starter kit. We need groovy tabs. They're in the starter kit. With a black mat, dual purpose, also in the starter kit. And then, right, so then we start using a few different plates. Oh, you need your plate, mate, which is that's the key, really. That's the golden rivet of the starter kit, okay, because everything fits in that, right, and it holds it all in place. So next thing we need, this is nested squares extension and alphabet frame A4 square groovy plate. So this plate here is really, really useful for all manner of things. And what we're using, and you might find this size somewhere else, okay? But what we're using is these double lines on the inside. And if I hold this up tight, you should be able to see the double lines, right? So the point being that when you need something that's going to sit inside the coaster like that, right? And it's still going to have enough room to do the Pico cutting around the outside, okay? And maybe if one of our groovy experts is in the building, perhaps, and I didn't do it, and I don't have the plates here, perhaps somebody could just check whether or not the groovy Pico die, just saying, you know, the groovy Pico die, the square one, whether there's one there that would fit inside here, just in case somebody didn't want to actually, you know, the groovy Pico square, nested squares. I didn't like to say, oh, you need to buy that as well, because otherwise that list just gets longer and longer, doesn't it? But to be fair, that what you need in the end, and there are loads of different ways to do this, you just figure it out. I used this one because I was going back to what I used before. So in those days, when I made this in 2017, we didn't have nested groovy Pico dies and plates. Okay, that was something that came after. So that's okay. You know, I think it's when you're starting out with a hobby, you know, not everybody's got loads and loads of money to invest in all these things. You build your stash gradually, don't you? So, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to make sure it fits in here, because you don't do all that work and then realize that it didn't fit in the coaster. While I've got one in front of me, let me just show you, because honestly, I've watched people trying to open these. Look, it's there. It's at the bottom. See? It's like that. I've seen people try to open these, and it's painful to watch, really. Look, it's this bit here, there, like that. Okay? And then this bit's got the recess. The top's got the recess, and the bottom's got the positive and the negative, okay? So that is how you open it. And then if you want to really permanently seal it, then you just put a little bit of 3mm double-sided adhesive along there, and that will hold it forever, which is clearly what I did with Mum's, because I can't open this for love nor money. No, I can't open that. But you also can't see the 3mm tape. I can't see. No, yeah, a little tiny if you really, really look. But when you consider that I made this 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I'd say that's okay. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to use. What else we got here? Tina's Doodle flowers. Okay, let me just pop that to one side for a minute. And what I will have to do at some point, I don't want to waste the batteries though. At one point, I'm going to have to switch myself off, put the batteries into the mic, and then switch myself on again. Okay, but I didn't want to waste it. So there you go. Right, doodle flowers, Tina's Doodle flowers. These are super. They're in. This is where I got the dragonfly from. Let me show you. It's a pair of them. Really cool. Okay, so there's the dragonfly right there. There she is. So that whole thing is made with that little dragonfly. It's cool, isn't it? But you could use the dragonfly. You could use leaves, flowers, that little bird. That little bird is so cool. You could use that little bird and that. You could do a whole coaster with birds. It's all about the layout. It's all about composition, laying them up to create gaps, cuttable gaps, cutting opportunities. Let's call it cutting opportunities. Right, and then we've got mum here, right? So I'm gonna show you where that comes from. So this alphabet is really fab, and it's a little funky alphabet. And it's got these little letter boxes as well. It's a much smaller alphabet. If I show you the difference, see there's the letter boxes on the Groovy Plate Mate, the A5. This alphabet is much smaller. The letters as well, look, half the size. See? And they're also single line as opposed to double line. So it's a good alphabet to have. I talked to Paul about, can we make this independently? And he said, not really, because it comes in there. It comes in our Groovy Go plate, mate. So I think you can get that and that together, right? And that's a little plate, mate, that they sit in there like so, you see? So this is all very clever stuff. But you can't buy that independently because it comes in there, see, in the Groovy Go. What is the Groovy Go? The Groovy Go is a really lovely, funky little starter kit. It's more for, I'm not going to say children, but it would be for kids or young people or people that haven't got 80 quid to spend on the big starter kit. You know, it's a great thing, and it gives you, it's that pint size. You've got in here, you've got everything. You've got everything you need. You've got project sheets. You've got project kit. Lovely. You've got the tool. You've got 2 and 4 in there. See, not sharp for children. Then you've got tumble dryer. Then you've got these 2 plates. Then you've got the starter kit, and you've got a black half pint size A5 size mat as well. So it's a smashing little kit, really. Make a nice gift. Yeah. So there you go. But what we're using is the alphabet from there, if you want to. If you haven't got it, I've got another idea, because there was another alphabet. I'll show you. You see, like I say, I think you have to get used to the idea of, and I'm sure you do, we're crafters, you use what you've got in front of you. But say, for example, look, there's another alphabet here, beautiful. So I'll show you how to use that if you haven't got that. You know, what you want is a small alphabet. Otherwise, on a coaster, if you've got a name that's got more than, mum's, 3 letters, but if you've got a name that's got more than 5 or 6 letters, it starts to take over the coaster, doesn't it? Okay. How are we doing? Everybody okay? So what I wanted to do, though, I just want to make sure I can find everything in a minute. Right, and then I've got, if I'm using the Groovy, the starter kit, because I'm using these A6 plates and I'm using the starter kit in the big plate, mate, sorry, like that, I need a spacer so that this doesn't wobble around, okay? So I'm going to grab that as well. And I picked this spacer because I thought, well, these butterflies would be fantastic for a coaster if you didn't want to do the dragonfly. Just use the little spacer. You know what I mean? Lots of choices. So there you go. So I just want to make sure I don't lose anything. Let's have a look. There you go. These are the plates, if you look. And the dragonfly is there. There she is. And there's the alphabet. And I want to show you, just so that people can settle in and get their tea and have a look. I want to show you, right, with this little pair of plates, I've got to show you some of this artwork because it's absolutely blooming beautiful. Look at that. I know. Blooming lovely. Carol at her absolute best, isn't it? Carol Pankstello. Look at that. With the drop shadow. Doesn't that look fantastic? We're never going to get to this coaster, but I've got to show you that. Look. I know. Now I'll just whistle through these cards just to show you some artwork. Chris Walker, look. Dee Paramore, love those tall legs. Jane Telford. Carol P. course, they make us look good, don't they? Linda Page. Morgan Greenwood, aged 9 years old. Wow. And that's super. Chris Walker. I know. That's Emma. Emma Burns in Scotland. Glynis. Now that's a Tina Cox. That's the one that's the project. And that lovely. Look, no cutting out, nothing. It's just all done with white work and pens. There's another one, no cutting out. Josie Davison. Absolutely smashing. Made by Jane Telford. Aged 57. She was then. Ha 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 ha. And then this is a gorgeous one. Carol P again. I love the drop shadows that Carol. Look, see the drop shadow? So clever. Look. Nice work. Okay. So I just wanted to give you a good introduction to what's on those plates, you know, and I think sometimes when you see it translated into artwork, then you really get a kind of a feel for what it is. So let's just tick those boxes. What else we got? Yeah, okay. So the light wave perforating, that is for the other part of the, we're going to get there. We don't need that yet. Oh my gosh, Japanese, right. Okay, so we do need these. You only need one or the other. So I've got, for example, I've got one needle fine, one needle bold. Then I've got 2 needle fine and 2 needle bold. And we'll talk about that more afterwards, okay? You can either do that one or that one. If you're starting out, you probably want to go with the bold needles. It's easier to, bigger holes, easier to cut out. If you want to really stretch yourself, use the fine ones. I went with the fine ones when I was practicing this afternoon, because I thought, I just want to stretch myself. I want to challenge myself. On the original one that I did, I used the bold ones, because in those days, we didn't have any fine ones. Okay. Right, are you ready to go? I don't think I'll last as long as the light wave. Okay. Good. Oh, Grace. She's lovely. Now, let's get started then, shall we? So the first thing we need to do is get some parchment. So we want a piece of parchment. Let's get started. And then what we want, first of all, before we do anything, we need to get our frame. You know, we need a shape to work within. So do you remember I said that this is actually from Jane Nestorenko's, those of you, you might remember, but it's this little thing here we need. So I'm going to take my A5 parchment, and there isn't a back or a front to this, okay, love? There isn't a back or a front on clear parchment or on plain parchment. I'm just rubbing that side now with a tumble dryer sheet so that the tool glides well inside the groove. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up there like so. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room around the outside. And then I'll take my groovy tabs and I'll just stick this in place. And I'm just using the groovy tabs to hold it in place. Good, good, good. Right, and then I'll show you. Right, tools. So what we need now is the number 1 tool. Number 1 tool. We're going to go around here. I'll tell you what is a handy piece of kit to have is the groovy guard. Listen, if you haven't got a groovy guard, then use anything that's flat like that, just to hold it in place while you're working. You need something just to hold the parchment in place while you're going around. So what we'll do is, and can I just make a suggestion? Right, when it comes to parchment art or groovy work or whatever you want to call it, you can't rush this job. You cannot rush this job. You've got to take your time, because if you want a good result, if you go too fast, one, you're not enjoying the process, and 2, You miss a bit, you know, I reckon that'll just be perfect. There you go. So that's the only thing that I needed from that plate, although we could use the words as well. But for the moment, you see, and I know now, just checking, I know that that's going to sit inside that perfectly. Okay, good. Now let's have a look. So we'll just take that off there. I'm just going to pop that down on the side. So I think I'm going to use these groovy tabs again and again. Okay, so now I've done that. That's the back and that's the front. When it's raised, I'm going to pretend there's someone in here that's never done any of this before. Okay, and you're wondering what on earth these groovy plates are about. So now let's take this plate and we need that. The first thing we need is the dragonfly. So let's go with the dragonfly. And I'm going to stick to the plan, although I'm mindful of the fact that I've got leaves and flowers and all sorts of other things as well. But I'll stick with the plan. I'll stick with the butterfly, the dragonfly. And you see, I can feel that it's the groovy side. If I can read groovy, I'm on the right side. Now, most of you will be aware and know everything that I'm telling you, but nonetheless, you know, at the risk of repeating myself. Now, the only thing that I've lost, and I had it in front of me because I only just showed it to you, is the spacer. There you go. So you see, I slot that in there, and now that's not moving anywhere while I'm working. Right, this is the little fella I want. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my coaster here as a little bit of a to peep, you know. So I'm on the back, and now I'm going to look. Oh, I've got my. Let me just use all these. I've got all these stickers here. So let me just use these. These are the ones I was using this afternoon. See, I'm the bus driver and I have to get on the bus early and work out a route. And that's what I did this afternoon. Right. So I'm working on the back, and the object of this exercise now is to start building up. So if that's where I'm going, I'm going to put that one in first. That big one in front, that's in front of the, see, it's in front of the little letters. And I'll show you a couple of little tricks. So where we want to go is about that bit. It's like almost in the middle, like that. Okay, just don't overthink this too much. You just got to kind of, because you can put the others where you like, but if we put it about there, let's have a look. And then we're just, and it doesn't have to be straight. It's going to be all over the place, right? But that's where we're headed here. And every time I put a little dragonfly in, I'm going to just use a tumble dry sheet to make sure that it's. Now, what I want to do, don't get ahead of me. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come in a bit closer for a start, I think. How does that sound? Is that better? So I want to show you. I'm gonna come in here, right, and I'm using the Groovy Guard. I'm using my number 1 tool, and we might as well get into the swing of this. So you gently go into those lines, and then you're going to come around here. I mean, it's going to take a while, I know, but yeah, well, I did it this afternoon. I did the whole thing to completion this afternoon. So, you know, I'll show you. Right, there you go. So that's that one. And that's that one. Now, these dragonflies, they've got a line going through here, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore that chatter. I'm going to turn to the number 2 tool. It's up to you. If you want to do all of it, then be my guest. Me personally, I'm going to leave the top part of the wing and the bottom wings, I'm going to leave them open. See, so that means, I'm going to show you another little trick, but what it means is that if you wanted to add colour, so you're giving yourself a really good colouring opportunity there. And the reason we're using the number 2 tool now, most of you will already be aware of that, it gives a softer edge. So that means that when I go to do the white work and I make the little dots, they'll be easier to do. So I've done dots, 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 lines, done. And I'm not going to worry about, I'm not going to worry about all these little chatter lines. Otherwise we will be here all night. Okay, so now let's lift this one off. Are we all right with this? Hey, I know that most of you are just hanging out, drinking your wine, enjoying the company, and I'm pedaling away here, and I'm a happy bunny tonight. There, see, so if you look at that, you'll see these lines are crisp, and those lines are a little bit softer, aren't they, because we used the number 2 tool. I think the other thing to bear in mind is with this, because it's so busy, there are so many dragonflies, you can relax, because it's so busy that you know your attention to detail will make the overall effect wonderful. But if there's a tiny little bit or a little inaccuracy, nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to sit there dissecting your coaster, are they? No, they're not. Right. Okay. So now we've done that one. So let me show you this. So if I put this one here, so that's that one there. All right, back to front. That's this one here. So now mum is here. Mum is here. Okay. So if you want to put words here, now's your chance. Do you see? So have you got anybody that you would like to make this gift for? Because now's the time to put those. So say that person's like, I've got my mum. I could make one for Sheila. I could make one for Ken. I could make one for Linda. Yeah. So actually, so it's all about how many boxes do you need? How many boxes do you need? So if, for example, we've got to swap this out now, okay, and we need the alphabet box if we're going to do that. You see, and then all you're going to do, but I'm going to show you another trick. If you're going to use this one, you see, then all you do is you put in the number of boxes. I'm going to show you another trick though. You're going to put the boxes in here, right? Like that, 3 of them. Or if it's, you've got to count, if you're going to do it for Sheila, Sheila. So now you've got Sheila. So you've got 6 boxes. So you have to consider that there are 6 letters here. Do you see what I mean? So I want to show you something that I did. So one of our friends, one of our group here is in hospital at the moment. You know she is, Maggie Kramer. She's been very unwell. I talked about it. I think I said something. I was given permission to share her daughter Bex, and she said that I should tell her friends. You are her friends. And she's doing all right. I got a little message from her this evening. So, but she's in hospital, and she was very poorly last week. And so, ironically, I was actually thinking about her this morning, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make her a coaster. So I was able to spend a few hours thinking about Maggie, and I'll show you how I didn't use those Groovy Go letterbox things because I didn't have them here, right? So I just had to use what I had in front of me. And so what I did was, you'll see here, this is already done to completion, ready to cut. But you see what I did was I took the word Maggie here, right? And I used this plate. So I thought, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The mum one with those little boxes, you know how that works, right? That's basic. This is a little bit more advanced, but I want to show you because you can, if you've got a long word, this is a brilliant way to do it, because rather than using letter boxes, you can make this quite long. Do you see what I mean? So I thought, right, I want to show you how this works. All right, how this works. Listen, I did not read the rule book on this game, but you just figure it out, don't you? So this is how I did it. Okay, this is how I came to work this out. And you know, you can call it cheating if you like. I thought it was quite intelligent. Okay, so I'm going to take this plate, and what I'm going to do this is quite straightforward. This is, what do I want? I want it to say, for example, on here, I want it to say here, whatever name I've got. So say, for example, I'm going to make this for Sheila. Okay, I'm making this for Sheila. Okay, so what I'm going to do is write Sheila. This is what I did when I did it for Maggie, right? I'll show you. So I'll write Sheila up here, like that. So now I know exactly how to spell Sheila. Okay, so that means when I turn it round, it's back to front, right? So on a bit of white paper, you see it better. So now I know that's exactly how it's going to be here. Okay, that's the first thing to know. Now, next thing I did was I took a ruler and I took a white pencil. Okay, so I've got a white, it's a bit blunt, isn't it? Look, if I've got one that's a bit sharper than that. Let me just check if I've got a white pencil that's not blunt. That'll do. Okay, that's better. Okay, so it's a white Pergamano pencil, like the Pergamano B pencil from your Pergoliners. Yeah? Oh, okay, let's go. So what I want to do is I want to write Sheila. On the front though, look, I'm writing it on the front. So the first thing I want to do is make a line where I want to see it. So I reckon that I'm going to make sure that it's straight. So the way to make sure it's straight, I'm going to use these grids here. So let's say, for example, if let's go up here a bit, that's better. Right, so I want to make that the word, okay, Maggie or Sheila, right? I'm going to run it across here like that. See, so I can see that it's straight like that. And the reason I can tell it's straight is because I'm looking at the ruler. It doesn't matter where I put it. Look, silly girl. It's the ruler. The grids on the Perga ruler are telling me if that lines up with that line there, then I know that that's going to be straight, isn't it? So let's come down a bit more. I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a line like that on the front. Okay? And that's where my word's going to be. So now I know it's Sheila. So I'm coming in on the front and I can see the letters. I can see the letters here. And I'm going to write A there. Then I'm literally going to write, now I'm going to find L, K-L. And I'm using that line to line up against the other letters, L. Next one, I. Sheila, I. There you go. So I'm going to put I there. Yeah, Sheila, guess what you're getting for your birthday? Right, E. Run along here. See, to me, this is logical. And then we've got the H. And because I've written it up here, I'm just copying A, B, H. And I'm using these letters here, so I know it lines up. And I'm getting the spacing well. H. And then I'm going up for the big S. Now the S, right, now I'm coming, I can see the letters here. Right, the S it hangs down a little bit, but I think that's going to look great. Right, so I'm dropping the S down a bit like that. So I'm getting the spacing. Right, that'll do. Okay, so I've written Sheila exactly as I want to see it on here, right? And then I'm going to turn this over now. Right, and now I'm just going to go back over the whole thing. Right, tumble dry sheet. I wonder if I've got this tumble dry sheet feels like it's had better days. I know the feeling. Right, so we're going to rub on this side. You see the white pencil, I can rub that out afterwards. So the first thing I'm going to do now is go S. Right, here we go. Number 1 tool. S. Right, H. Let's have a check first, make sure we like it. Yeah. That'll do. And you know, if you miss a bit, you can always go back. Right, H. Okay, so now we're going to go to H. And I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right place with all the letters. There we go. See, and I'm looking at the white pencil line here, and it's showing me that it's straight. So now let's see where that H is. H. Cool. The lovely thing about Groovy is, of course, that when you do Groovy, see, so you check the line here, check, ooh, okay, so you're not going to go off-piste there. Make sure it's right. Sheila. Right, I. This is probably the most complicated part of the whole thing, but you've got to get the word in, haven't you? It's just a thought, but you know, then you're making this for some. I mean, maybe you don't want to put a word in, and then you jury's out on who you're making it for, isn't it? Sheila, should we check what we're doing? Sheila, doesn't it's going to look so good? Right, L. Sheila. See, the thing is, because we're not using the letterboxes, this is what I wanted to kind of do here. This is why I wanted to do this from a compositional point of view, because I thought, see, if you do it this way around and you're not using letterboxes, you're going to get, it's so much easier to do it like this. And you can get much longer, like words. There you go, Sheila. Wunderbar. Right, so we'll take that off there. And then I'm going to take my eraser pencil, my pink one, and then I'm going to, because I don't want all the pencil marks, and you watch it sharpen up when you get rid of all the pencil marks. The pink the pencil eraser really gets rid of it as well. It properly does. Look, you have a look. Let me just get rid of all that. Look at that. There. Done. Right, that's the first job done. And then we need a box around it. Remember what we're doing, snippability. We've got to create a box, haven't we, around it. So let's have a look. Let's make a box. We're going to use this again, right? And what we're going to do, I thought, well, I'll go up here in this corner because that will give me exactly the box I want, right? So what I'll do is I'll go in here like that. And again, you see, I'm using the grid to make sure that I'm straight. And all I want to do is, if you like, I'm going to make a box there like that. Let's have a look. And I'm going to come along there and I'm going to hit that. Then I'm going to come up here. That's my box there, see? So you want to make sure it's in the right place. And you can always stick it down. Looks good. Yeah. Right. Now, how do you know where to... So I'm going to do two sides. Then I'm going to flip it round, do the other two sides. And you've got to know, right, that there's so much snipping and perforating and busyness in here that you're not going to notice if you overshoot the mark by a millimetre. So, you know, don't lose any sleep over this. This is supposed to be an easy, joyful experience. Okay. Right, so let's have a look. I'll just get this out as well. So I'm going to go from here and I'll just make a little mark so I know where I want to stop. Okay, so I want to stop there, so I can tell myself to stop there. And I think I want to go to there. Okay, so that's it. I've told myself that I want to go from there to there and from there to there. So if I start where I mean to stop rather than the other way around, I'm probably in with a better chance. Okay, and then what I need to do, because I need the lines there now, so I'm going to pick this up. Okay, I like working things out like this. Look, see? And then we're going to go like that. Right, so now all I've got to do is marry this up with another straight pair of lines, haven't I? So that works, see? So I can see exactly where that's going to go. I think this looks quite good. There you go. Straight enough. That'll do. Good. Like that. Hold that in. Now, let's see. So we're going to go from there to there. And then there's a little bit of a... see, cutting opportunity right there. I know, it's a lot of work, but it's so therapeutic. That's it, done. I mean, if you wanted to do double lines, then be my guest. If you want to do a double line there, I mean, you could, couldn't you? In fact, maybe you'd like to. And if you want to do that, you could go in here now, look, like that, and add your... Shall we do it? Come on then. In for a penny, like that. That'll look quite good, actually. It will open it up a bit more. I didn't do it this afternoon. Well, it started in the morning and it ended in the afternoon. But let's say, for example, now, so that's like that now. Okay, there. Okay, so we're going up. We're coming a little bit further over, aren't we? Okay, let's see if this works. Hope I don't muck it up now. Right, that's that. That's that, like so. And then I'm going to come round there. I mean, how hard can it be, friends? Look. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So then you go like that. And then you've got that line there. And you could have used the double line corner to start with. Would have been easier, Gray. But, you know, you're not famous for doing it simply, are you? Right. Okay, that'll do. And it's straight enough anyway. Good, good, good. How are we doing here? Are we enjoying this? Is anybody actually doing it with me or learning anything? Right, let's have a look. That's that. And that's that. And there's another little bit there. And you know what? That's going to be too little to do any cutting in. But it's good enough for a... It's good enough for the words Sheila. So the recipient. There you are. Doesn't that look nice? It's good enough. It's good enough, girls. So let's just check the difference. Maggie, I love the M in that alphabet. So that's for Maggie. This one's for Sheila. See, so you see it's a little bit short, but yeah, but it will be nice. And now what we need to do is fill this with dragonflies. So back to the dragonfly plate. We all right with that? So you need this one, and you need your dragonfly plate, and you need the spacer so that it doesn't slip out, or whichever image you're using. Okay, let's have a look. Right, and now we're going to start moving. We're just going to start twisting and moving. And now when I did this, I did always tape it down while I was working. But let's just see, because you want to, what you're doing now is you once you get started, you'll be fine. But it's just getting going, right? So let's just see, for example, here, that's the one that we've done. So that one, I went that way. So let me show you what I mean. See, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to make cutting opportunities. So if I bring... Let's get rid of this book for a minute. Hang on, I need a little bit of swivel room here. Okay, so if, for example, I bring that, see, I can bring it down like so. Look, watch. See that there now? I'm making a cutting opportunity. There's another one there, like that. I know it's a bit of a fiddle, but this will be perfect. So what I'm doing now is they're just all over. They can go in any direction you fancy. Right, but that's what I'm doing, is that one there, and I'll just do that again. All right, so, and I'm on the side that I can feel, right, and then all I want to do, I'm going to hold it with that though, because I feel I've got lanolin or I've got greasy hands, and then what I'm going to do now is just get the shape of the dragonfly in, this one, like so. So this one's behind the other one, see? So when you get to that, you just pop that in like so. There you go. And then every dragonfly, what we're going to do, just to speed up the process a little bit as well, if you don't mind, just going to pop that in like so. So we've got some good cutting opportunity. Then we're going to put that line in the top leaves, wings. And then we'll use the number 2 tool just to put the rings in so that we've got something to emboss. Just a bit softer, that's all. Okay, like that. And then this way. There you go. Grace, she's a monkey. She's saying, tell people about the awards. Loads of people weren't in at the start. You need to tell them all about the awards. So what happened was this afternoon, we got an email, right? So now I'm just going to look again where I can put it's all about the cutting opportunities. Watch. See, so if I put that there and pop that there like that, that's going to be pretty good, you know. That's going to be a good one, like there. That would be lovely. See, so it touches there. It touches, we could just, if we just do that. There you go. And then we've made 2 little smaller ones. That's nicer. Yes, we found out today, Grace is funny. We found out today that we won 3 awards. So we won runner-up in best stamps, which is really exciting because there are a lot of stamp companies out there. So to get runner-up's pretty cool. And then we got best workshops, which is couldn't have come at a better time really, because I'm just about to start leaning into workshops. So we got best workshops, which is a real lovely pat on the back. And then I got personality of craft personality of the year, which is it's a biggie, isn't it? Let's face it, it's a biggie. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. And Grace's very proud daughter moment here. I can feel it all the way across from New York. Yeah, which is really lovely. And yeah, I'm smiling like a Cheshire cat, to be honest. Yeah. And over the years, you know, we've won lots of awards, you know, best blog and so on. But I've never won Craft Personality of the Year. That one's always eluded me. And you know, and that's fine. I never saw myself as a craft personality. Now let's have a look. So you can see here how this is working. Yeah. And it's coming together quite fast, really. And we're getting these really good areas. See, so you move the plate around and you just look and you build your, that's going to be good. See, so you can build your, see, you can get more going like that. It's nice to have, for me, what I like there, see? So you hold it like that and you all the time, you've got 2 things going on in your mind. 1, cutting opportunities, and 2, interest of image. So you want the head of you see, you want the top part really. So you just do this and you just work your way around. So it doesn't take too long, really. This is not, well, I say it's not the hard part. It's the important part, really. It's an important part because it's composition, right? So again, just wipe that. And I think one of the things about getting the craft personality, okay, so I can tell you this while we're doing this. So it's been a little bit of a monkey, you know, I've had a bit of a ride of it. And last year, in fact, it was over a year ago, you know, I got a phone call from somebody that I really did trust. And he just said to me, you know, I'm I'm giving up my, I'm selling my interest in the company, and you need to step down from the board, because I was a board member at Hochanda and at Create and Craft, and I just got a phone call saying, that's it, I'm out, and you need to step down from the board. And then from that moment onwards, there was a new management in, and they really didn't take me for a full shilling. I don't think so. Certainly didn't feel like it. And so we had a whole year of really uncomfortable, you know, being ignored, not being taken for a full shilling, you know. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And, you know, when you get to 65, you think, wow, okay, is that what it's come to, is it? You know, that I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop that one there. We'll leave that gap, because I might just put a leaf in there. Okay, let's try something different. Let's pop that one there like so. Yeah. Tell you what's funny, it's the second time I've done this today. It's a lot easier. First time I was like, wow, how do I, you know, how do you know where to put it? Second time it's a piece of cake, just look. Yeah, so it was a bit of a head game, you know. It's humiliating. It nibbles away at your confidence, and I'm not famous for confidence anyway, and it started really eating away at my, not just nibbling, it was really eating, and it was kind of eating away at my confidence. And you know, and you start thinking, you know, are you a has-been? You know, I remember sitting, when I was on the board, I remember some silly sod saying, a board member, a fellow board member, not silly sod, saying that, you know, no disrespect, Barbara, but, you know, let's face it, you're, I don't think he called me over the hill, but he certainly said, you know, you need to hand the reins over to a younger person. And it was like, wow. So, you know, when you get into your 60s and some bloke says that to you, it doesn't feel right, and it doesn't feel good either. So there was a lot of that kind of gaslighting, I think, is the word that is a sort of a buzzword for it. Yeah, bit of gaslighting going on, and it worked, you know. So I had a good couple of years of that, really, before the new management had already started. There, this is going to look so nice. Right, let's turn that round and let's put another one in. So this time we don't want them all looking in the same direction. Let's go here. How about, let's have a look. That would be amazing, like that, wouldn't it? Yeah, just like that. So that catches that. Then we've got quite a big bit there. Do you think that's a bit too much? So I can always bring that over. Oh, look, if I do that like that. Let's do that. Yeah, you know, and you kind of, so you're always having to talk yourself. It was like being in an abusive marriage, really. You're always trying to talk yourself out of that sense of low self-worth. I'm sure a lot of you can completely understand what I'm talking about. And so there's a lot of that going on. And it was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable for me. You know, you get to a certain age and you think, really, I could do without this. And so then when it was finally over and they pulled the curtain on Create and Craft, I've got to say, you know, I was quite relieved. And, you know, as much as we took a massive financial punch to the gut, we really did. For my own sanity, it's okay, actually. And we're just coming out of it, you know, we're just kind of, now it's taken a few months. It does though, doesn't it? That kind of thing. And we're just coming out of it. And then today, you get that recognition. So all those, you know, people that were pretty much saying that I was over the hill, or, you know, I should give it up, really, you know. And I kept thinking, well, I don't know, I've still got a lot left. I've got a lot to offer. You know, I don't think I'm cooked. And you know, and Dave was always saying, you're joking, you know, don't be ridiculous, you know. But in the end, it's almost like you feel like you're fishing for compliments, because you keep saying, oh, you know, I'm rubbish. And you know you're not rubbish, but you feel rubbish, you know. I'm sure you understand me. So to get that award, let's have a look at this. Which way am I going now? To get that award, can you imagine? Of all the awards, I'm trying to look to see which way I want this dragonfly to go, because I've got to kind of work from the center, because, yeah, you see what I mean? So I can always add it around the outside, be a bit of a monkey to put it on the inside. So let's see. If I go to there, then I've got that. I need to catch that bit there. See, that's what I need. And then I'm going to come over a little bit. And I reckon that is perfect. Yeah, so I mean, I'm speaking my truth here, you know, from a woman's point of view now, from a, you know, not from a crafter's point of view, but just when you get second guessed like that and gaslit over a period of years, it doesn't do you much good. And to be given that craft award, that's quite something, you know, for this old bird. So it's like a massive 2 fingers up to a lot of people, really, you know. You understand me? Yeah. So, and you know, I said in my blog, you know, it's not the Oscars, it's not the Grammys, it's not, you know, it's a bloody craft industry. But in this head, in my little head, that's amazing. And I know my mum is going to be absolutely over the moon. I was talking to her this morning, or at lunchtime, when I was when I was doing the first one of these for Maggie. And I was talking to Mum, and we had a really good chat. Yeah. Now let's have a look, because you can see how it's building up. Okay, let's have a look. So there's an area here that needs attention, there and there, but otherwise we are on track here, friends. Okay, so you go back to the back. And now let's have a look, because I could add a little bit. I think I want some wings up here. I think I want a wing or two here. Hang on, let's have a look. What do I want? What is it? What is it that you want, Gray? See, it's all about your cutting opportunities. So if you do that there, that'll look pretty cool. Oh, hang on. I know, you don't have to shout at me. I saw it myself. That'll be good. Like that. How are you doing? Are you getting there? Is anybody doing this with me? Or have you given up? Yeah, I like hanging out with you and doing this sort of stuff. I really do. So I don't do a lot of parchment because well, it's the time. It's how much time. You know, I love parchment art. Don't get me wrong. Well, I love it. I appreciate it, and when I'm in it, I really enjoy it. You know, it's maybe not my personal passion, but I do enjoy it when I'm doing it. I'm going to leave that bit. I'm going to put something else in there. You know, I do enjoy it. Now, what we got here? See, I think I want to change this up a little bit. And come on. There, look. Leaf. Lovely leaf. Agreed? Let's try something different. Can't all be dragonflies. There. Let's come down here like that. That's a great cutting opportunity there. So, and then we can pop that in there like that. Let's get this leaf going. Something different. There you are. And then that, and then that, and then that. We're nearly there, folks. And then when we've done this, okay, we just got to sort, you know, because the bigger the area, the more difficult, really. See, so that's cut that up nicely. So I think we need a leaf over here as well, only because it's a little bit of balance, you see. Otherwise, it would be a bit freaky having one leaf and then. Now let's see what we're going to do here. So we could cut that up like that. I wonder if we've got lots of different leaves. They don't all have to. How about like that? I bet that looks good. Right, stick it down. Yeah. There you go. Leaves. Leaves within leaves. That's nice. There. That looks good. So, I think we're nearly there on the composition front. Let's take a look. I feel that I need a little bit up there because that's quite, look, that's too much. See all that area there? I need to break this up. So I'm going to pop something there. And it might even just be another little bit of, let me just have a little look for a minute. Let's see. See, I need something up here. So I've got a leaf there. I've got a leaf there. Put a little bit of leaf or dragonfly. Let's have a look. Dragonfly, like that. That completely beautifully. That's like that there. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So we've got the workshops and the open day dates. They all got released this week as well. So I don't know if you've seen that. I know that I wrote the newsletter for the design, you know, for the clubs, and all the dates were in that for the don't worry. All the dates were in that for the open days and for the retreats and the summer retreats and all sorts of loveliness. So that's quite big there. Do we want to put something there? I reckon that's probably good enough. Let me just check this. So Maggie's is lovely, but the thing about this is it's like Sheila's is lovely too. You just can't see it yet. But I'm just checking. Now I want to tell you, there's another little trick I'm going to show you, right? But first of all, we need to stretch our necks. Oh, what's the time? 8:05. Okay, good. Are we on it? Are we on it here? Right, come on then. I'm afraid when you put messages, I can't read them. But what I will do is afterwards and tomorrow morning, I'll go through and, you know, when I lie in bed with a cup of tea and I'll read all your messages. So don't worry. If you say something unkind, I'll read it. And if you say something kind, I'll read it too. There you go. I think one of the best things about the Facebook Lives is this interaction, this community interaction. I mean, we've had it for years, haven't we, with the shack, you know. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm just checking. Yeah, this is going to be nice, not too busy. Now, the next thing we want to do is the white work. So this is easy. This is easy. So you can either use the back of your black mat or embossing mat. Look, add more hair there. Linda, my mate. So these mats are great. Pink mat, right? Pink. What's it called? An exclusive or an excellent mat or something. What's it called? Excellent mat. Well, I say so. I'd say so too. Recommended by professionals. There you go. Nice. Yeah. Owner of Pergamano. I just read that. Look, Barbara Gray, owner of Pergamano. Linda Williams, author and master tutor. I know. And best mate. Oh, she's brilliant. So on Friday this week at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock on Clarity TV, we're launching the latest, well, it's a new collection of Linda Williams. These plates are just exquisite. They're called Richelieu. We've had some right sport at work trying to get people at work to say it. We've got Richie Lou at the moment is where we're at. Richie Lou lace. So we're at Richie Lou lace, or if you're French, if you speak French, it's Richelieu, all right? So Richie Lou it is. We're doing that at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and they are superb, like crazy. And the whole idea of what I'm doing here is to kind of ease you into the cutting and these bits. So now we're going to do some white work. So I'm going to go, I've got 4 and 3 from the starter kit. And what we want to do now is just the dots. So I'm going with 3, and I'm just going to press in and then out we go, right? So you're going to go up, down, left and right, up, down, left and right, up, down, left and right. This won't take long. So up, down, left and right. And then all we're going to do is just with the number 3, we'll go back over them again, but just for now, let's not overthink this, okay? Because we can go back over these again and again. I'll show you. And then when you go back like this, see, that's just the start. But when you, let me show you, like, so Maggie's, I did Maggie's a few hours ago. So now, for example, I go again, and I'll use, like, let's just have a look. It's above the M, right? And I'm going in again. See, the pink mat is ever so forgiving, and you get a really good, I bet this comes out a bit whiter now, this bit. This is the one that we're looking at. Let's see if it's whiter. Yeah, see how white it is? See that? So check that out, next gen white. So let's go to this one. It's a bit grayer, right? Turn it over. And then when you see, if you leave it for a few hours and then you do it, I mean, Linda, or Mrs. Purist, she says you should leave it overnight. It's like, yeah, well, we haven't got that much time, Linda. But that's how you, because what happens is the parchment kind of shrinks back into itself again. Look, see how white it goes. I know. So, you know, before I cut all these out for Maggie's one, I'm just going to go back one more time. It's like a white rinse. And you just go in, and it just, it really does. You can feel it. It's got a bit more purchase on them. It's not so shiny. Look, see how it changes it? It's really lovely, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. I really enjoyed doing this one. I really enjoyed it because I sat the whole afternoon talking to Maggie in my head. Right, let's have a look. See, so you can see, don't think, look, it's no different. What I'm doing here is exactly what this looked like 3 layers ago. It looks gorgeous there though, and it's still got another layer to go at least. So, but it's all right because I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I've got number 3 tool, and all I'm doing is going up, down, like across, and then round, like that. Just, and if it gets too small, then go in with a number 2 tool. But then be aware that the smaller the tool, the greater the possibility that you'll puncture the parchment. Having said that, though, not necessarily with the pink mat. The pink mat's very forgiving. See, that's too big for. It's bigger than what I'm trying to. See, so you can use the number 2 tool, and it gives you a sharper. Look, let's just use the number 2 tool. Get over it, right? See, that's one of the things about when you didn't read the rule book. Mind you, I can tell as well. I'm better off. I don't want an instant result now. I know I need to let it rest. I can hear her in my voice. Let it rest. But let me ask you then, because what I'm going to ask now is, who is actually crafting along with me? Or are you just watching me? Because if you're just watching me, this has got to be eye-wateringly monotonous. So Gracie says quite a few people are actually crafting along with me. Well, that's good to hear. There you go. That's interesting. So it's not eye-wateringly monotonous, eh? Do you know, it's funny because when we do our workshops, like I just said, okay, and we do groovy workshops. So let's say, like in the summer, we've made some changes as well. We've made some changes to the retreats, and this year we're going to we've bolted the Parchment retreat onto the summer retreat. And the reason we've done that is because we think that, well, the Tunbridge Wells, the spa, it was getting expensive, okay, for our, for our visitors and for us. And so we sort of said, well, what about if we bolted the Parchment retreat for in October? We brought it forward to August, and we attached it to the back end of our week of Inky Painty retreat, what I do. So I spoke to Linda about it. She said, good idea. She said, I'm with you on that one. So then we had to ring up Ditton, which is where we do the workshops, the open days and that's where we do the big retreats in the summer. So we rang them up and said, would we be able to have the hall, not just, so, we set up, like, say, on the Sunday, and then the workshops, the retreats, there's two-day sessions. So what we do is we go Monday, Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, and then, see, normally that's it then, we're done. So we asked if we could have the hall for the weekend as well. And they said, yes. So this is what we're doing. We're doing Inky Painty, that's me, sort of mixed media stuff, and stamping and that. Monday, Tuesday, 2 days. Wednesday, Thursday, 2 days. Then day of rest. Well, day of rest. Day to regroup, reshuffle, change the tables, change the content, change what we're doing. That's Friday. So closed but open, if you know what I mean. We're there doing our bit. And then it will be Saturday, Sunday is the Parchment retreat. So we thought that would really, would work really well for a lot of people. And so that's what we're doing. And they went along with it in Ditton, which is a right result. And we've had plenty of people already sign up this week because, like I say, the newsletter went out this week. So that's cool. And the reason I'm telling you this is because, so when I do my workshop, like I do my retreats, and there's always a lot of action and a lot of banter and a lot of noise, and and like jelly plates and mixed media and paint and laughter, and you know, it's usually quite full of action, right? And then we do like the Parchment retreat, and I'm Linda's assistant. So then Linda takes over because she's the leader, and then I just help with Paul. So the two of us sort of we just put our steps in and go around and help people, you know, assist. And it's so quiet. It's so quiet when they're doing the Parchment. Nobody talks. It's like that. It's really, really takes some getting used to, you know. It's really funny. And I said to Paul, "Are they all right? Do you think, or are they unhappy?" He went, "No, that's what it's like in a Parchment retreat." And I'm like, "Yeah, but nobody's talking." He goes, "Well, they're not supposed to talk. Linda's softly spoken anyway, and everybody's just in this groovy groove, right? In this really chillaxed, groovy state." and I'm thinking, why are they so quiet? How many times do I rest and redo this? Well, I would do it 3 times. Me personally. I mean, I'm forcing it a little bit here, Deirdre, because I want you to see a result, okay? But say that's 1 time, and this is 2 times, and then I've started doing the 3rd time. So to me, 3 would do. But there are partridges in the room that would go not as heavy and do 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Me, listen, I'm going to sandwich it in a coaster. So, you know, I'm sandwiching it. 3, absolutely got to do 3, even if you don't do any more. And then let's have a look. Have I done them all? Ah, see, it doesn't take so long. Not bad at all. So we've done, let's say, I would say, Deirdre, good question. See, I would leave it now for a bit. But the thing is, I can go back in after I've perforated. Be a bit trickier once I've cut. But when I've perforated, if I want to go in and re-emboss when I've perforated, that's fine. Nothing's going to Pat Coombs. Grace just sent me what you said. Thank you. Yeah, it's not going to make any difference if I go in there, and it's not going to disturb the perforating, is it? Okay. No, not at all. So I would say 3 times, Deirdre. Right. So I've done once. That'll do for now, because now it's time for the next thing. Okay. So next thing is perforating. So you do lay up, perforate, no, lay up, emboss, perforate, cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So now what we're going to do is perforate. Now let's have a look. We need some different things to perforate. And what I found was this. Because I didn't do all the really intricate bits here, you know, like if I show you my mum's, see all these bits here, this made it very clear what was a dragonfly and what wasn't a dragonfly. But on this one, or let's say on Maggie's one, right, what happened was I was struggling to know which bits am I perforating, because I didn't want to go into the actual wings, you see, but because there's nothing in here, it's quite easy to suddenly think you've got to cut this part of the, you know, you don't realize that you just cut into a wing. So my solution to that was to take my pencil again, right? And I started in this corner, and every part that I'm going to cut away, right? So now I just do that. So I know that's a bit to cut away, that's a bit to cut away, that's a bit to cut away. So all I've done is, right, I know that I've got to cut this bit away. So I'm just colouring in the bit in white. And then I know exactly which bit's staying and which bit's going. Now, if I was going to, let's just say, see here, it'd be quite a challenge. If I was going to colour in, I'd do that as well now. So on the back, if oh, this would be a really lovely one to colour in the wings. You know, the bits that we've left blank would look so pretty in a colour. So you could take, let's say, I'm just looking, there's a particularly effective colouring. It's like that one. See that there? See, so you could take that colouring, like something like that, and you could use that kind of colouring in the background. See, it'd be beautiful as well. I'm just saying, but you'd do that before you'd perforate, okay? And this just shows me which bits I'm cutting out. I just found it very, see, just made it very easy this afternoon. I thought, oh yeah, no problem. So it's just practical, isn't it? Shows you what you've got to do, really. So I'm just doing this on a hard surface on the front. Is that okay? See? Because then you think, oh, is that so that's a bit of leaf there. That's a leaf. That's that. Then this bit is another bit that we're doing. I thought this was a good idea anyway. Like that. Right, that's another bit there. Okay, what we got? That bit there. That bit there. Yeah. Yep. Let's have a look. It's going to be nice. See? So then the other thing, right, this is, you know, this is my own opinion. I'm no expert, but I'll work this out. To my mind, obviously, we're going to cut around the outside as well. We're going to Pico cut, unless you've got the dies, but let's just assume that we're going to cut around the outside. So I felt when I got to this bit, I'm going to do all the perforating. Look, see, I've done all the perforating, including around the outside. But I'm going to cut this bit out. I'm going to cut the middle out first and then do the outside afterwards. That'll be for me, the last thing to cut out would be the actual thing. So I'd go on the inside first and then do the outside. But that's just my own, you know, that's just, I felt that would be easier all round if I did the inside first, because otherwise it would be too vulnerable. You know, this gives it a bit more stability. If you've got this much around the outside, it holds it all in place while you're cutting into it. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is perforate. So to perforate, you've got loads of different possibilities, but to do let's do the inside first. Let's perforate on the inside first. So now you've got choices. You need, because we're going freehand, right? So we need a 2 needle. Right, and when you look at the tools, right, okay, so we need a 2 needle. And when you look at them, you can see from the ends which ones are smaller and which ones are bigger. So that's a small one, 2 needle fine. And then it's the same with the 1 needle. You can see smaller dots than fine. I'm using the 2 needles fine and the 1 needle fine. And I'm going to hang on to the 1 needle. Sometimes I just can't get in with my 2 needle, so I use my 1 needle. Now, what am I going to perforate onto? So I didn't use the light wave for this because I thought, I know a lot of you will though, a lot of you will, but I thought I can see just as well like this, okay? All I need though is I do need my groovy mat. And then I'm going to use my 2 needle tool. And I'm sure that most of you will You're doing this from the front, so you should be able to read Sheila, or yeah. And you've got a foam, so you've got a thick foam, so that when you go through the parchment, you don't hit your table with your you don't want to mess your table up, right? So what we're going to do though is, let's just see. I just want to get started. Once you get into the routine, it's not bad. So this was how I was turning my A4 super foam. This is how I was working, right? To me, this made the best sense. So let's just have a look here. I've got that one. This is all, there you go. So I did miss a bit there. That's a bit of cut out a bit as well. And can you rush it? No, don't rush it, because you'll spoil it. Now let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Let me just get my eye in. Yeah, right. So 2 needles, right? And what we're going to do is, right, change glasses. So what we're going to do now is perforate around the outside, because what we want to do, we're going to cut out these bits here. I'm going to pretend there's somebody in here that's never done this before, right? So what we're going to do is take these 2 needles, and then we make holes all the way around. And because the needles are pitched a certain distance apart, say that's needle 1 and that's needle 2, right? So needle 1, needle 2, holes. Then needle 1 goes into needle 2 hole, then needle 1 goes into needle 2 hole, needle 1 goes into needle 2 hole, needle 1 goes into needle 2 hole. And so that way you've got perfect pitch, right? So what we're going to do, and the other thing that I find, right, is that I'm doing this a little bit exaggerated so that you can see it better, but you're staying away from the, see, so perfect 1. Let me see if I can come in really close here so that you can see this, and then I might pan out. Otherwise you're going to find I'm gonna, there, you can probably see those 2 holes, can you? Right, so what we're going to do, you see, we're going to put needle 1 like that in needle 2, and you're staying away from the, go slowly, you don't want to go on the line, right? And you don't have to press too hard. You don't have to go all the way through, you know. You can always go back and make the holes bigger. There you go. So you just go like that until you hit, see? And then you hit a shape. And then you know, right, you're going to cut this out to here. So to me, and I'm sure, okay, that a lot of people would go, well, I know you would. You know, when you watch these seasoned parchers, when they go round, the speed with which they do this is quite staggering. But I'm not a seasoned parcher, and I'm enjoying the journey. So you see, you go in, one of the needles is slightly like that, right? Now turn it, and I'm going to concentrate on the area that I'm looking at. I'm not going to do all those and then all that, you know, I'm just going to keep turning the artwork, because there's a lot of, there you go. Once you get into it, it's great. See? And you if you're right-handed, it's the same, but it's the other way around. But I'm holding the needle over the waist. Do you see? I'm holding, when I say waist, the bit that I've coloured in is the bit that I'm going to cut away. See? So I'm going around like that. And what, for me personally, see, I decide that that's good, and then I perforate. I don't perforate and then think, oh shit, I missed. I look, check, and then do it, right? Look, happy, go. Look, happy, go. look, happy, go. And then you'll find that you get into a rhythm. See? So I go into that one, and then I press, press, press. And that's good enough. See? That's good enough. If the gap's too big there and I want it to be smaller, then I'm just going to take my one needle tool and I'm going to pop another hole in there in between if I feel I need to. See? And that one's done now. And I'm really glad that I've got these white penciled areas because it really does help. Yeah, Gracie just said language mother. I think I'm quite reasonable actually. Right, there you go. My rad, my rules. Right, here we go. In and press. Right. So round we go. And then we just... And it's always a good idea to look, you know, step back after a while and just check where you're at and whether you're there. See? And then I'll turn it round and make it come to me because I find it easy to just travel down towards myself with the needle. Look, see, so I can see it. That's the thing. See, so to me, rather than try and move, you know, the tool, I just move the artwork, make the artwork come to me. Yeah. And so the Richelieu plates on Friday, you may have seen some of the artwork on the website. We've posted a beautiful banner on the website with some of the most beautiful, exquisite artwork. And the thing about the Richelieu plates is that they... Let's have a look. And then I'm going to take my number one because I think I can put another one in there like that. It's all about cutting. Not that you have to. Linda's designed them in such a way that they're beautiful for a beginner as well, or for somebody that's just starting out. But the brilliant thing about them is that if you like the lace look and you like the cutting, then what you'll find is these plates lend themselves beautifully to that. And I know that a lot of you really enjoy the cutting. What I really like is the way that Linda's designed them, though. They're still exquisite plates, even if you don't cut anything out. There you go, perfect. I like to have that choice. You know, I like to have that choice, that bit there. And but see, I like cutting out. I like Pico cutting. I find it very therapeutic. And yeah. And I don't find it that hard either. I think the more you do, the better you get, like our friend Elizabeth says. And even if, you know, like this, what we're doing here, you know, it's such good practice. It's such good practice. I noticed that this morning. When I started, I did a bit of cutting. When I started, it was a bit ropey, you know, because I was out of practice. I haven't done it for so long. But once I got into the swing of it, once I got into the rhythm, there's a sort of a rhythm that happens. You see? And it's really nice. And you can see on that side, it feels quite gravelly. And that's really why you want to, you really want to do your colouring and your embossing before. Because you certainly couldn't use oil or, you know, you definitely want to do your colouring before you do this. And I'm all in favour of turning my artwork and tackling the little section at a time. I think if I tried to do all this in one direction and then the other, I know that I'd end up Pico cut in the wrong area. There. So I think one of the best tips I've given you this evening, I think, let's have a think. Right. I think that the writing was a good tip. Okay. To write it on the front, and then I think that was a good tip, to write it on the front and then emboss it on the back. See, that's a little bit, what am I going to do there? So if I go that way, no, I'm going to make two different triangles. I'm going to stop it there like that, and I'm going to make that little, that's that little corner, okay? And then I'm going to make another, triangle here, like that. That's what I'm going to do. And then I think the other that I'm really glad that I've done is the white pencil on the front of this, to absolutely make clear which bit we're cutting out and which bit we're leaving in, you know. I think that's key. So, see? That'll do. Wunderbar. Right. So you can see how this is working, can't you? Have we got anybody left? Is it just me? And who else is in the room with us? 200 and how many? Golly. Okay. So would Pico cutting the new Richelieu plates be the cardinal rule? Ah, yeah. Cardinal Richelieu, that's where it comes from. You've been doing your homework, Ken. Let's do one more. Right, so this is where my I have a question now. Okay. Do we fast forward to the cutting, or do we carry on? Come on, take a vote. I'm easy. But I can fast forward to the cutting. It's your shout. Let's take a vote. Come on. Gracie, you're in charge. Oh, I can't look up while I'm doing this, so Grace will have to take the general consensus. Because I reckon this is going to take a couple of hours. So unless you're going anywhere tonight, we'll just carry on. I know Grace has got a date with Dave Chappelle tonight, haven't you, Grace? Mixed voters. Carry on. Ooh, also cutting. Mixed voters. Who knows Dave Chappelle? Yeah, you talk about language, Timothy. Right. Yeah. Like I said, he's not for the faint-hearted either, is he? I love him. He is so near the knuckle. Very good. Very funny man. I envy you, Grace, that you've got Dave Chappelle tickets. You lucky girl. Can you tell us where it is in New York where you're going to see him? We want to know. We want to know. Dave and I, when you say, I think cutting wins, Grace, do you mean that I should stop doing this? Radio City Music Hall. That sounds like a really great place. I'm definitely going to do the cutting. Are we saying that we fast forward to the cutting? Ray, is that that place where they have the... I think I've been there with you, Grace, haven't I? See, I don't want to spoil it by rushing, but I'm definitely getting in the groove here. Yes. Fast forward, I think, wins. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to fast forward to Maggie's, because I think you got the general gist of how this works, haven't you? See? So what we're going to do now is, let me just finish this one little bit, and then we'll fast forward to Maggie's one. Yeah? So I think you get the idea. And then this one, I can finish later. Right, top tip, we know how we do that. We know how we do the words. We know how we do the double. We know how to single out the bit. Now we're going to do the outside edge. So you got choices on the outside edge. Let me explain. With the outside edge, it's straight lines. So there are grids that you can use, and the grids will keep you really rod straight. So you put the grid underneath and it keeps you in line. If you haven't got the grids, it's not a problem. You could just take the ruler, right? This is like in the world before grids. You take the ruler, you take your 2 needle. Now, whether you take 2 needle fine or 2 needle bold, it's entirely up to you. But you could take your 2 needle, you could take your ruler, and you could just go along the edge like that, right? It's a challenge. The grid makes it a lot easier, a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'll put that to one side. I'm going to get Maggie now, right? And I'll show you. So let me show you. So grids, you got diagonal grids, you got straight grids. Even on a diagonal grid, there are straight lines, but there are diagonals and straights. So we've got really cool little mini grids, right? And the little mini grids just happen to fit absolutely perfectly. Let me show you. So this little mini grid, for example, if I show you the straight one there like that, if I pop that on there like so, you can see exactly the outer edge all the way around. That will give me the exact line, right? Let me show you, like that. It's exactly there. You see the little holes all the way along. Okay, I've got 2 diagonals here, but whether it's a diagonal, I've got 2 diagonals, but it doesn't matter, because all I do is I just have to turn it round. So the baby grids work, okay, But if I were to take the A5 one, you could get a diagonal one or a straight one of these as well. So this is an A5 one. And what I'll do is I'll take the A5 one and I'll show you what it looks like when you use a grid with a light wave, okay? Because what you find is that light waves, you know, I say you don't need it. You don't. You could see those holes, couldn't you? But I tell you what, when you've got a light wave, it makes a difference. So let me just get this going. Let me just put this on. Okay, nice. All right, most parchers swear by this. So I've got this. Let me just get I've got my groovy plate mate. I'll stick that on there. I'll put my grid. So the grid, what the grid is, for those of you who are not sure, a grid has got thousands of little drilled holes. They are literally, they are holes. Right, so now let me take Maggie's and I'll show you. If you can see the holes? So I've done two sides already. I literally held it like that over the top and just drilled. So if I turn around these two, see, I can see exactly where the holes are, like that, and where I'm going to go. You see, like that. So if I take my groovy tab and I just stick that on there, and just excuse my arm while I just stick that on there. Just want to make it sure it's in the right place, like that. Yeah, that will work. So I've done those two sides. I just want to show you. Now you've got choices. 2 needle. This is a bold, so I'm going to go with a bold. Let me try something. Just bear with me. And what I've used, let me just check this out. Okay, so 2 needle fine works as well on this. Okay, I can still get the, okay. So I can use a 2 needle bold or the 2 needle fine on this grid, apparently. That's interesting. Let me just make sure it's in the right place, because I want to make sure that I don't go off piste like I just did. Right, and then I'm just going to go down the edge, and I don't have to go 2 in 1, 2 in 1, because the grid gives me, see the 2 holes there, down I go like that. And what I've got underneath is a thin piece of white foam, not the super foam. I'm using the thin foam because it's translucent. Right, it stops me stabbing the light wave. It's translucent, and it also it's not so thick that it diffuses the light. If you use a super foam one, I noticed that when I used the thick foam, it's the light wasn't as bright. There you go. That's what my findings. Like, I found it. Look, if I use this foam, which is really thin, that's where I'm at. If I use the thick foam, I'm going to make a point here. If I lift this up, excuse my arm, and if I move this across like that, look, see the difference? Super foam, thin foam. Well, hello. So there you go. That's what I think. So the thin foam is perfect for it. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, you get the thin foam with the light wave when you buy it. So that, now you know why. Now let's have a look. See, so me personally, see, I've got to go over the top now. Excuse me a minute. And then we're going to start the cutting. So I've got my holes in place, and now I'm just going to see, I can actually do this. It's a little bit uncomfortable. I would turn it round normally because I can't, I'm not holding, it's not, I'm not coming towards myself. See, so it's taking me a little bit longer to find the holes. There you go. Persevere, Barbara. And the other thing is that you could just use a 1 needle tool. See, the holes are perfectly pitched in the grid, but you can see how easy it is to find them. And once you get in, if you've ever seen Josie Davison or one of the seasoned parchers doing this, it's like a sewing machine when they go along like there you go, that's that done. So there you go, top tip, use the thin, and then when you turn it off, that's it. So now we're ready to cut. That's going to go back over there. And now it's time to cut. Like I said, I think that cutting on the inside makes more sense to start with. So let's have a look what we've got here. Maggie. And we've still got enough battery going. Now I've got 2 different scissors here. These are the exclusives, and these are the ring locks. Do you remember when you gave me that Glynis? I know, still got it. My pride and joy. Okay, so now let's look at these scissors. So these are the ones that I use, and then these are the ones, they've just got bigger, look, they're bigger here, and they're very sharp. They're also more expensive. A lot of people swear by these, you know. If you've got bigger fingers, they're definitely important. These ones work for me. Okay, they work for me. Right. So let's have a look at how I'm holding them. This is, Linda Williams taught me this. Thumb in there, that finger goes in there, the forefinger. Okay, so I pinch them like that, and it's pointing up. See, it's going up. And then I use those fingers to hold, so I've got a bit more control. See, like that. So what you're doing now is you're cutting, the bit that you coloured in is the bit that's going to fall away. It's what we call the waste, right? And what we're going to do now, let me just get my Dame Edmonds on so I can see what I'm doing. And I hope that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to hold my finger underneath that so you can see it. And then I'm going to go in here. Probably should try it on a bit of scrap first, but let's just give it a go. Come on. In we go, and then snip. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm going into the first and second hole and then snip. Then into the first and second hole again, and then lean over and snip. And then in again, and then you can see the little V. So you go like that, and then you see the V and you snip. So into that hole, lean over and then snip. And you take your time, and there is no need, if you can feel it's touching my finger underneath, and that to me is the key. And I use the fine needles, so they're tiny little holes. And this is a lot of reason why a lot of people start with the bold needles, because it just is easier to locate the holes when they're bigger, right? But so take your time, in you go, and then snip. So if I take a tiny piece of black card now and I hold that in there, you should be able to see those little V's. See the little V's? They're like little tiny triangles. And that is called Pico cutting. See? And then you turn it round. This is how I work anyway. Back in there like that. And now I'm going to go again. So I'm working from the top. See? I put my in there and then a little snip. And then I'll go into that hole and then I snip. So I keep moving down to the next hole and then snip. Then I go down to the next hole and snip. See? And then we turn it round. But you're always cutting across the waist. So the scissors are actually across the bit that's going to fall out, see? Like that. So just hold it like that and then snip. And I know I'm going slowly, but that's one, it's because I'm trying to hold it to the camera at the same time. See, so I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute, right, to make this more ergonomic. Right, see this bit here? That is irritating me because it's making it more difficult for me to... So what I'm going to do is cut this off now. So I'm making, very often what I find is that the parchment piece that you're cutting out is just too big and you can't get your hand around. So now it's a lot more ergonomic for me. See, that will help me a lot, especially when you're over the far side, if you see what I mean. See, now I can hold it, look. Okay, and I've still got my finger underneath, so where am I? Here I was. Right, that makes such a difference that I've cut that off now. So bear that in mind. Right, now we're going to go in again. Okay. So a lot of people, they hold their work down on the table and cut it out like that. I think because I demonstrated on telly for years and I had to hold it to the camera, I tend to hold it in my hand. And the other thing for me, okay, is that I like to feel the scissors going. See, when I do that, I can feel the tips of the scissors touching my finger underneath. And so it's literally only the tips of the scissors. If you go in too far, look, when I do that, I can feel just the tips of the scissors. So I don't know if you can see this. See, I'm just leaning over, and then when I take that away, there's the first piece, all done, all lovely. Look, see? Let's do this tiny little bit here. And you go like that. And if you're struggling to see, like, I know Maggie, right, it's funny, but Maggie always, when she's at the retreats, she's always got like a miner's torch on her. It's so funny because she comes in and she's got this headband on with a headlight on it. Yeah. And then she'll look up at you and it's like blinding. It's like the headlights. Bless her. But I find a good pair of scissors, good pair of glasses, and a little bit of time works perfectly, you know? And if I'm not fast, it's not a race. And as I go around here, is this working okay? Can you see this okay? Wouldn't you use the white foam mat? Bernie, what do you mean? Would I use the white foam mat to cut out on, you mean? Sorry, I wasn't looking for the question. I didn't understand what the question in context. The white foam mat, certainly not to cut out because I wouldn't be able to see. When you buy the scissors, you get a piece of black foam mat, and people use black foam, thin black foam, to cut underneath. And that works. So you've got all these lovely little... For me, I've got a lot more control if I've got it in my hand. And I'm going to show you something, because I mean, I'm holding it like this, so this is going to do my shoulders in. By the time I've gone around here, it's going to... But I'm going to show you a posture that I do where I get into it and then I could just snip for hours. There you go. It's lovely when it starts. It's lovely when it starts to come together. See, isn't that nice? Now let me show you something. So this is how I sit when I'm doing this. So I've got my leg, right? I've got my knee crossed, and I've got my work here like that. Okay, so now I can relax. So my hand, this is the point, right? When you're cutting, this is what I find. When you're Pico cutting, this hand here that's holding the artwork, right, it needs to be anchored. It needs to be leaning on something. If you can't lean on your knee, at the moment, I'm just leaning on my knee, right? This is my stance. So I can bring my knee up, see? So if I want to see it a bit better, then I can bring my knee up, but I've always got my hand resting on my knee. So it's anchored, if you like. It's not floating around. Yeah. This is the moving one with the scissors. So now I haven't got a camera to show you this, but let's say, for example, if I want to cut that bit out, then I'll just sit like that until I get my eye in, right? And this is how I do it. So now I can see it's very comfortable. I turn it round. I've got my artwork there, and I don't know if this helps you, just watching. It's not so much the cutting that you want to be watching now. It's how I'm see what I'm doing is I'm working towards myself. So I snip in, I lean away. Look, I'm exaggerating now. But what I'm doing is, that's that bit done. I'm holding it like this. Okay, let me do this bit. In, and then I'm leaning to 11 o'clock. So into the 2, and I'm working towards myself, but I'm leaning away from myself. So I'll show you what I mean. But more importantly, I think, what's worth noting here is how I'm sitting, and how I could go for hours like this, absolutely hours, with my leg crossed, with my hand leaning on there, holding the artwork, and just working my way around. And you know, everybody's got a different way of doing it, but this to me is like almost like hypnotizing. I'll show you. And what I'm doing is, I'm just going to come round now, and then I'll come to the front camera so you can see it. All right, so you know how I'm sitting now. Now watch the angle, because what I'm doing is I'm working towards myself, but I'm leaning away from myself. I mean, I'm left-handed, but if you reflect what I do, no different. So here, for example, now, watch what I'm doing. I'm going in and leaning away. I'm going in like that, and I'm leaning away. Now I'm coming into the hole again. I'm moving down and leaning away from myself. I'm moving towards myself, but I'm snipping, I'm leaning away. And I tell you what, when I've done little, you know, when we do the workshops, and I say, right, if anybody's struggling with the Pico cutting, peel away from the main group, come and sit with me for 10 minutes, and let's just have a real one-on-one. Look at that. And you know what's brilliant? This is why, if you want to get into it and you fancy joining us for the Parchment retreat, I mean, that's why Paul's there, I'm there, Linda's there. Linda's doing the main game, right? She's on the main, she's the teacher. But then if somebody's struggling with their Pico cutting, then it's peel away from the group, come and sit at a different table. Let's have a little one-on-one, you know, and the success rate that we get. And you see ladies, and mostly women, you know, they're so excited that they've worked it out. And it's a lot of it has to do with how you sit and that simple leaning away, and how you hold the scissors. So if you fancy joining us, you know, the dates are there now for the Parchment retreat. But you can see just how it's so addictive. This is so nice to do. And I will finish this, and I will get it sent to Maggie, because I think she will be really pleased that we spent the evening thinking about her and sending her healing energy. You know, she's in the wars at the moment. She's a tough old bird, I know that. See, so what's really important for me now is to have, the most important thing there is that I'm leaning on here. See, I'm leaning on the table. If I'm hovering, it's not so easy. As soon as I'm anchored, and everybody finds their own way, you know, you'll develop your own style for cutting. This is my style. And I tell you, all I know is that when we do the retreats and people peel away from the main group, come and sit with me for 10 minutes, we seem to get a really good result. So I would say this isn't the only way to do it, but it seems to work well for a lot of people. Okay. And when you're right-handed, you pretty much just got to do the opposite. Like, think about it from that point of view. You're just, oh, I think I missed one there. But it looks so nice when it's done, you see. And so what we've done is we've got this fantastic design that we've created. There you go. And it, you know what? When you cut the pieces out like this, look at that. Doesn't that look just delightful? You know? I think so anyway. What do you think, Grace? We happy with that? And one more thing. It's very, very addictive, friends. Like, I could sit here now till midnight doing this, and I probably will once we call it a day. But I know that Grace has got to get off to her Dave Chappelle. Have we got any questions? Is there anything you want to ask before we let Grace go so that she can get ready for her date? Hey? Yeah, see, this is so relaxing, actually. And before I put this in the there's one more thing I'm going to do though. When I finish cutting all this out, there's one thing I'm going to do, and that's get that pink mat out and just spruce up that whiteness. I'm going to go back in and do one more layer of whitening, you know, just to get those dots really, really lovely and bright white for Maggie. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So, I hope that you enjoyed this. I think you get it now, don't you? Lots of tricks and tips. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for voting for us. Have we got any questions? Or has Grace already left the building? So I'm using the fine needle, you know. When you use the bold needle, you'll find the holes are a little bit bigger. It's a little bit easier, to be fair. I did challenge myself a bit here. I just like the look of the cut. And when you do the Richelieu, when you do those, they look good. Something very rewarding about this. When you do the Richelieu plates, you know, you can start if you want to. You don't have to cut anything out. But when you do, let me see if I can find, just in case you haven't noticed it yet, let me just cut this little piece out. And then what I'll do is, I do like doing this, actually. A great little present, isn't it? Really. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding. The fact that Mum's was made in 2017 and she still uses it every day. Yeah. That says it all, really. Boom. There. Doesn't that look good? I want to show you this because I didn't bring any artwork. I've got to go into work tomorrow to oh, I just got a message from Becky that Maggie's a bit down today. Oh, well, I'm going to have to ring her tomorrow. It's no good. Look, I want to show you on our website. That's what I wanted to do, was just show you a picture if I can. Just bear with me a minute. And I just want to bring up the Clarity Crafts banner. See if I can find it. Because when you see the... What have I got here? Right, let's see if we can get the banner up. I don't know if it comes up on my phone. Doesn't look like it's gonna. No. Well, friends, right, I'll tell you what you need to do. Go to the website and look along the top, or wait till Friday till 10 o'clock. That's your choice. Okay. Oh, Maggie's feeling a bit low. Well, I'm not surprised. I remember when I was in hospital, it's not easy, is it? You know, she'll be okay. We will help her. Okay. How about this? I know, I've got it. I need you to do me a favor. You're good at making cards. We're a card making group. Okay. I want you to do me a big, big favor. I want you to make a card for Maggie. All right. I'm serious. Make a card for Maggie. I don't care whether it's groovy, whether it's mixed media. Maggie does everything. Maggie Craner is one of the most prolific crafters I've ever met. Okay. She's really low and she's, you know, she's in hospital. She's struggling. Can we let her know just how loved she is, please? Right. I need those cards to come to us. Address them to me at Clarity. Put a card within a card, would you? Like, put a card within an envelope. So it's addressed to Maggie. You can write your private message to her, right? So, and then send them to me, your cards, and then I'll bunch them all up and I'll get them to Bex. And then Bex can take them into Maggie. And I swear, I promise you, there will be nothing quite like it for uplifting. Okay? Will you do that for me? Yeah. So do that. And that would be absolutely marvelous. Please do that. And other than that, I will, I thank you for joining me. I know that loads of you are leaving now because, of course, we've been at this for 2 hours. I hope you had a go. I hope that you learnt loads. And don't forget to sign up if you fancy a 2-day retreat. Then I'm your gal, and so is Linda. Especially if you like doing this kind of work, then definitely do the Linda workshop. And other than that, send us a card so we can send them all to Maggie. Grace, thank you for your help. Enjoy Dave Chappelle. Give him my love. And I'll show you the finished effort. I'll get this done and I'll send that with all your cards. How's that sound? That'll be a lovely box for her, won't it? Yes, it will. Good. Lots of love. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget, tomorrow evening, the Shack, 7 p.m, we're making a poster together. We are colouring. Okay. Bye now. Bye-bye. Thanks.